Hello, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. We are going to go through a lengthy set of hours going over a variety of topics, podcast version of them. First one we're going to talk about are two big things, El Salvador and Tether. First article out of many here, just in this one podcast, is um, these came out in the last couple of days. First articles from cryptonewsmedia.press. Tether invests in Volcano Energy that's building a Bitcoin mine in El Salvador. This is pretty innovative stuff. Uh, Stablecoin issuer Tether has backed up a startup called Volcano Energy that aims to build a Bitcoin mining farm in El Salvador. They've invested in it first round on Monday. Again, this is June 7th at 1 a.m. First round is 250 million. Tether backed only part of this round. Tether CTO Paolo Adorno told the block. Unclear if the full 250 in funding has been raised. Volcano Energy did not immediately respond to the block's request for comment. The goal is to raise $1 billion to fund the mining operation. Uh, Tether is one of the investors, and current size of invested in Volcano Energy is quite contained, being well within our excess reserves, so it's not taken from the reserves backing the tokens. This is what the CTO said. Um, so as a minimum, the company holds back all issued tokens. So right there, the company holds back all issued tokens. I've talked about that before with these miners and whatnot. Its excess reserves stood at 2.5 billion at the end of first quarter this year. So that's Tether itself. And then I've also said same thing when it comes to Bitcoin miners as well. So as a cabal, I think they together as a cabal can control the price of Bitcoin. Volcano Energy, led by uh, Jose, 23-year-old Bitcoin advocate. Wow, 23-year-old man from El Salvador, serves as the CEO, and Max Kaiser. Oh, this will be fun. As chairman advisor to El Salvador President Bukele. The size of the planned Bitcoin mining farm is 240 megawatts to be divided between 169 megawatt photovoltaic solar energy and 72 megawatt of wind energy. I mean, that's pretty innovative. The Metapan municipality in El Salvador, located in the Santa Ana department. I know nothing about El Salvador's geographic, so don't ask. Output expected to generate computing power of 1.3 exahash per second. 1 exahash per second is equivalent to quintillion hashes per second. Okay. We're excited to be among the initial pioneers of renewable energy in El Salvador as an equity investor advisor. Again, this is from the CTO of Tether. Investment continues Tether's journey in diversifying its strategic ecosystem. I think this is smart for Tether to diversify and get into Bitcoining mining, because I think they opened up a Bitcoin mining facility. And I think it was Uruguay, South America. News came after a week where it said it'll produce. There you go. It will produce energy and mine Bitcoin in Uruguay. There you go. The company said it will invest 15% of its profits in Bitcoin on a regular basis to strengthen its reserves. Besides mining, Tether recently invested in CityPay.io, a payment processor in Georgia. Now, if I don't know if that's Georgia the country or Georgia the state. We're going to talk about regulation from the U.S. with in other soon uh, podcasts on the finance and Coinbase lawsuits from the wonderful people at SEC. Okay, next article we have here, Crypto New Media Press again. What is USDT and token with the record 83.6 billion market cap? Tether's stablecoin, crypto designed to be pegged to a given currency. USDT, crypto claims to be backed 1-to-1 by the dollar US dollar, though critics have questioned whether it is backed by cash reserves. I believe it's not. 2023, the stablecoin hit an all-time high in market cap, surpassing the previous peak of 83.3 billion in May 22, according to CoinGecko data. Tether is the third largest crypto currency out there by market cap, with 83.6 billion, commanding 7.5% of total crypto market capitalization. Critics, now this is what I believe as well. The critics of crypto, like China's major payment institutions, this price volatility makes them poorly suited being actual currencies because their value can quickly change and make an agreement hard to come by. No, I forget what I just said about agreeing with it. That's where crypto like Tether comes in. It's designed to enable users to navigate the crypto without being exposed to unpredictable prices. Uh, in a nutshell, Tether is meant to work as follows. Whenever a user deposits a US dollar to Tether's account, Tether Inc., the company behind Tether, the stablecoin, mints one Tether in return. Tether is available now in Euro and Japanese yen. These guys are going to get so regulated to death if they stay in the States. Uh, okay, who created it? It was created towards the end of 2014 under the name of Real Coin prior to its branding as Tether. Okay, here we go. So maybe they're not in the States. Uh, Based in the British Virgin Islands, jurisdiction known for its lax regulations, that's a red flag. Company head offices are in Hong Kong, shares most of its management team with crypto exchange Bitfinex, including its CFO, chief strategist, and general counsel. Uh, okay. What can you do with Tether? Tether is widely accepted on most crypto exchanges, can be easily used to purchase crypto. Also, I just realized that in Lebanon, where they have major inflation, Tether is one of the widely used stable coins to stabilize prices in Lebanon. It's frequently used by traders and investors as a way to maintain a stable store of value while still holding a position in the market. It is commonly a popular asset for exchanges themselves. Binance used to use it. Tether trading pairs are a common way to denominate prices in fiat currency, which most people can more readily understand. Many exchanges find it impossible to set up a fiat bank account, so some resorted to holding their funds in Tether tokens. Um, okay. So how is Tether produced? So you can go to this article here. Uh, Tether isn't mine. Tether Limited generates new tokens and issues them via crypto exchange Bitfinex following fiat currency being deposited into its reserves. Tether can be bought at most exchanges. Uh, how does it work? Tether is based on something called an Omni layer, made a protocol built on top of Bitcoin blockchain that allows projects to create and trade their own currencies. Tether tokens can be issued on Omni software layer for Litecoin blockchain in the summer of 2017. Ethereum-based tethers use the ERC20. And then it gets backed by. Okay, why the concern? Now, this is something that you should know. Uncertainty around Tether, particularly regarding whether every Tether can, in fact, be redeemed one to one for US dollar. It has proven because it was depegged under major stress in the crypto industry. Okay, that's been proven. Concern is that Tether, which has a market cap around 60 billion, props up the price of Bitcoin. A bunch of academics, Amin Sham, Sean Griffin, argue in 2018 Tether could be printed regardless of demand from investors, concluding that Tether printing schedule was consistent only with a coin that was partially backed, not fully backed by reserves. The real story here is the less than 3% reserves now consist of cash. Um, okay, that's a concern. Uh, this journalist accuses Tether printing money out of thin air. Sounds like the Federal Reserve. The reckoning will come when people try to cash out of Bitcoin and it dawns them there's no real money in the system to support withdrawals because the market was fixed on funny money. Okay, that's probably one of the big reasons why they're wanting to regulate because of this. Sam Bankman Fried, remember him? Of FTX pushed back against criticism of Tether, pointing to the fact that it's possible to redeem USDT to US dollar. And as if you're going to believe him, like I don't know what to tell you, can and we do. uh, okay, here's the future. Has proven itself to be a useful tool for the crypto community when it works, with investors quick to buy in downturns as a way to protect themselves from market downslides. As long as it works and it doesn't depeg from the US dollar, continues to be popular. Just amazing how people forget about this, or maybe not know because they don't dig deep enough. Uh, Tokens something changing hands more than once a day. This has been a useful source of liquidity for the market, which helps to keep prices stable as long as crypto overall does not go into a deep decline, as is proven last year. Tether's future will rely on whether it can maintain market confidence. Were its critics to be proved right, a loss confidence could easily lead to insolvency for your crypto exchange who use it to store value. Okay, so be forewarned there. Be just be aware that if you want to trade in real dollars, as far as I know, Kraken's the place to go. You can trade in US dollar. Okay, next article. Back to El Salvador and this mining farm. This one's from BitcoinInsider.org. Tether joins a $1 billion investment to build world's first largest Bitcoin mining farm in El Salvador. Um, so they promised to follow on a mission to invest in renewable energy source to support and promote sustainable Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin will provide and bring domain expertise in energy, hardware, and communications to build Volcano Energy. We've already talked about that. The whole concept of the name was that they were going to use somehow energy heating as a heating source from their volcanoes to mine. That was the whole. That's the name comes from. So Tether here says they want to play part in the world's largest Bitcoin mining farms. Um, so here it goes. So El Salvador has the highest geothermal energy production, located in El Priest Hamlet within the municipality of Metapan, Santa Ana. Chosen for this development will be divided into, we already talked about. Output will, we already talked about that. Uh, it's groundbreaking, da 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 da. This is from the CTO of Tether again. We believe that this percentage will significantly increase in the coming years. Important investment like ours. Not only is Volcano Energy important for the future of Bitcoin resiliency, it's also an important sign of the crucial role that El Salvador plays in the global technical environment. So this is now from the chairman of Volcano Energy, Max Kaiser. El Salvador has the volcanoes, natural resources, and talent now, the expertise and support of Tether to be a Bitcoin mining powerhouse. Bitcoin country will also now be known as a mining country. Okay, so here's some comments from Reddit who are generally pretty positive about El Salvador. So here's uh, some. So a lot of people are throwing in their kudos on this project. One said it seems like they're not going to be using volcanic heat after all, just solar and wind. Volcanic heat would be much better since windmill uses lots of oil, need frequent repairs, can't operate in every high wind, etc. They're not what they're touted to be. Solar has its pluses, but the panels and manufacturing the panels aren't green at all. So the question was, why they're not using thermal energy? Uh, Very complicated process to actually build geothermal, and not a lot of firms can do it. It's probably very expensive, whereas there are a lot of solar and wind options. Just my hunch. Okay, so there you go on that. Okay, I'm going to skip a couple of these articles. Here's another one on Reddit. This one, so these are usually under Bitcoin subreddit group. This one's entitled El Salvador's Volcano Energy secures 1 billion commitments for this 241 megawatt Bitcoin mine. Mm, the outside investors will own 27% of the venture, and the remaining 50 will be reinvested to expand energy production and mining capacity. The government will play a crucial role in planning and execution, and has secured a preferred participation equivalent of 23% of revenues, said Volcano. So there was unsolicited advice: buy Bitcoin with that money. Don't trust, verify. Especially if a government is involved, there are no trustworthy politicians, much less Bitcoin presidents. Very, very wise. Um, but it's interesting what they're doing here. We've got here bitcoinmagazine.com. So the aim here is to position the country as a major global player in the Bitcoin mining industry, promoting competitiveness, diversification, and geographic expansion for the Bitcoin network. Adopting a debt free approach, El Salvador plans to construct what we already gone through. Debt free approach. Interesting to learn. Um, so, so Robert Warren of Distributed Hash explained that the reason behind leveraging wind and solar is likely to monetize quicker, to build upon a base of geothermal expansion. So it's pretty hard to do, it looks like. Uh, so basically El Salvador wants to build a prosperous future driven by sustainable energy and Bitcoin. As the country's investment progresses, volcanoes could serve as the backbone of this transformation, fostering economic growth and prosperity for future generations. The establishment of the renewable power generation park signifies a large step towards achieving the goals, while cementing El Salvador's position in the global Bitcoin mining industry. So I'm sure there's going to be some people who have something to say about that. Of course, just looking for anything else unique here. Um, I don't know what more I can tell you, but there are some. Oh, here we go. This is what I was talking about. So, of course, the U.S. will have something to say about it because they're freedom of all things, right? So this is now crypto new media press headline: U.S. senators still think Bitcoin adoption in El Salvador could pose a threat. These senators just blow my mind. Okay, El Salvador attracts more tourists. American lawmakers are still pushing for a risk report on whether the Bitcoin friendly nation is a potential threat to the US. Ain't that amazing? Senator Jim Risch of Idaho and Bob Menendez, New Jersey, members and chairman of Senate Foreign Relations Committee. That's a red flag. Reintroduced a bipartisan bill asking for State Department report on El Salvador's adoption and potential impacts on bilateral economic relations and law enforcement cooperation. This is amazing. The bill, Accountability for Cryptocurrency in El Salvador, was first introduced back in February last year. Um, wow, this blows my freaking mind. Um, so Bukele, the president, bought large amounts of the crypto, and businesses in El Salvador now have to accept Bitcoin by law if they have the technical means to do so. Uh, Bukele's Bitcoin experiment has been praised by those in the crypto world, but criticized, of course, by institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, because this is their way of losing control. And if El Salvador succeeds, then this is a real threat to the uh, old world, fiat world establishment with the monopolies of these organizations. Okay, so they have this guy, Amos, uh, author of the Bitcoin Standard this week, became the newest economic advisor to El Salvador's National Bitcoin Office, an entity managing all matters relating to cryptocurrency in the country. El Salvador, once most murderous country on the planet, now has a low homicide rate following the Bukele government's crackdown on street gangs. Dramatic drop in crime, helping tech bros and surfers to the Central American nation, but human rights have criticized the regime, alleging its mass incarceration of criminals is authoritarian. So let's break that down. It's okay for the criminals to run a country, terrorize a country, probably extort a country, and yet those people that are being extorted and victimized are not entitled to human rights. This is the level of you know where I'm going with it. U.S. seems to be cracking down on Bitcoin, and we'll get in that in other podcasts today, since the collapse of the mega digital exchange FTX. American regulators have made it harder to do business for crypto companies in the world's biggest economy. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler has said Bitcoin is a commodity, but Bitcoin and the industry is a hot topic for next year's presidential election because of DeSantis and his love for Bitcoin. Let me just put out there, when it comes to any of these politicians, they just say things to do whatever it takes to get the votes, to get put in. And then don't stop to think that this guy DeSantis is backed by lots of neocons, may not do what he promises. Just remember that. Okay, so next article is we got crypto new media.press to build power generation park. So apparently groundbreaking announcement. Bitcoin mining industry while promoting energy competitiveness, diversification, and geographic expansion for the Bitcoin network. And U.S. senators are bent out of shape over this. Blows my mind. Well, it shouldn't, but nothing surprises me anymore. And Government El Salvador play a vital role in the planning and execution initiative, securing a preferred participation equivalent to 23% of the revenue. The remaining ownership will be divided among investors and reinvested to expand energy production and advance Bitcoin mining operations. By leveraging the concept of volcano energy, El Salvador seeks to establish a prosperous future by sustainable energy and Bitcoin. And again, we've got those established, basically old man, legacy, European based money controlling entities that don't want a small country to be independent, a prosperous future using sustainable energy and Bitcoin. And then we got also US senators from so-called freest country in the world crying about it. Volcanoes have the potential to serve as the backbone of this transformative journey, fostering economic growth and prosperity for future generations. Uh, it is a leap forward in solidifying El Salvador's position in the global Bitcoin mining industry. Oh, but here we go. More U.S. senators. Gotta love them. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I had the wrong last name. Industry expert Robert Warren, I thought it was Elizabeth Warren, our pal, co-founder of Distributed Hash, shed light on, he explained the integrating world. Okay, so we already read that. Uh, okay, so one more article. Um, no, we'll leave it at that. So if you like this article, go over to quantlabs.net/banking. It can help teach you how to protect your wealth. Everything's going up, everything's performing down, and the US dollar is down and up and down and up. So there are ways to protect your wealth. Again, that's quantlabs.net/banking. Thanks for listening. Over and out.